What if you woke up tomorrow and realized that the person you see in the mirror is a stranger you have been neglecting for decades? We often spend our lives desperately trying to control how others perceive us, chasing the ghosts of youth and the approval of the world, only to find ourselves exhausted and invisible. But ask yourself this. If you cannot even command the alignment of your own spine or the clarity of your own gaze, why should the world, or the women within it, grant you the respect and desire you crave? We anchor our happiness to the external, to the shifting whims of attraction and the fleeting glances of strangers, forgetting the Stoic truth that the only kingdom we truly govern is the one within our own skin. When a woman looks at a man who has crossed the threshold of 60 years, she isn't looking for the unblemished skin of a boy. She is looking for the structural integrity of a man who has not yet surrendered to the gravity of despair. The first pillar of this internal fortress is your posture, which is far more than a physical arrangement of bones. It is the physical manifestation of your soul's current state. Marcus Aurelius once noted that a man should stand upright, not be kept upright by others. When your shoulders slump and your head hangs forward, you are announcing to the universe that the weight of your years has finally broken you. You are signaling that you have moved from the role of a participant in life to that of a weary spectator. Women sense this decline not as a lack of fitness, but as a lack of vital energy. They observe the way you stand in a mundane line at a cafe or how you exit a vehicle, and they ask a silent, piercing question. Is the fire still burning in this man, or are we just looking at the ashes? To stand tall, to pull the shoulders back and keep the chin level, is an act of stoic rebellion against the decay of time. It is a choice to occupy your space with intent, proving that while your hair may gray, your spirit remains unbent. This alignment is the first word you speak before you even open your mouth, telling the world that you still own the ground you walk upon. As we descend from the shoulders to the hands, we encounter the most honest witnesses of a man's journey. Your hands are the tools with which you have built your life, and they tell a story that your face might try to hide. Stoicism teaches us that virtue is found in the details, in the small, seemingly insignificant actions that define our character. Most men over 60 neglect their hands, assuming they are no longer objects of interest, yet women see them as a ledger of self-respect. It is not about having the soft, untouched hands of a child. In fact, the calluses earned from labor and the scars of a life lived actively are badges of honor. What repels is the evidence of abandonment, jagged, untended nails, and dry, neglected skin. This neglect suggests a man who has stopped paying attention to the small things, and if a man ignores the very tools he uses to interact with the world, what else has he let slide? By tending to these details, you demonstrate a disciplined mind that understands that the whole is only as strong as its smallest parts. You show that you are a man who still manages himself with precision, rather than one who is merely waiting for the clock to run out. Moving upward to the jawline and the neck, we find the intersection of discipline and biology. It is a fundamental Stoic principle to accept the things we cannot change, but we often use age as a convenient excuse for laziness, confusing the inevitable with the avoidable. No one expects a man of 65 to possess the razor-sharp jawline of a youth, but the world, and women specifically, notice when a man's face has begun to merge into his chest out of pure surrender. This area of the body is a battlefield where self-discipline is fought daily. It reflects your relationship with temperance and movement. When you choose to maintain a healthy weight and strengthen the muscles of the back and neck, you are not chasing vanity, you are maintaining the temple. A visible jawline is a sign of a man who still has a grip on his appetites and who refuses to let the slow rot of sedentary life claim him. It is about visible effort. It shows that you still care enough about the vessel you inhabit to keep it seaworthy. When you align your head over your spine and sharpen your presence, you aren't just improving your profile, you are projecting a refusal to be diminished by the years. There is a specific magnetism in the forearms that many men find baffling, yet it is rooted in an ancient primal recognition of capability. In almost every social interaction, the forearms are visible. Rolled-up sleeves are the uniform of the man of action. Women do not look at them for the size of the muscle, but for the signal of utility. Strong, defined forearms, marked by the veins of healthy circulation and the density of honest grip, whisper of a man who can still fix, lift, carry, and protect. This is the Stoic ideal of being useful to the cosmopolis. While younger men obsess over the mirror muscles like biceps and chest, the mature man focuses on functional strength. Grip strength is one of the most accurate predictors of longevity and vitality, and it cannot be faked with small, repetitive gym tricks. It is built by engaging with the heavy physical reality of the world. When a woman sees a man with capable forearms, she sees a man who is still a force to be reckoned with, someone who hasn't retreated into the softness of old age. It is a silent testament to a life that is still being lived with the hands, not just viewed through a screen. Finally, we arrive at the eyes and the overall expression, the true mirrors of self-respect. Your eyes are the seat of your perception, and as Epictetus taught, it is not things that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. A man who has lived 6 decades has every reason to be cynical or tired, but the man who maintains a steady gaze of steady intent and stability is rare and deeply attractive. This is where you stop playing a small role. Most men your age have already stopped trying to improve. They have accepted a narrative of irrelevance. But you have the advantage of decades of resilience and wisdom that a younger man simply cannot simulate. Your eyes should reflect the quiet confidence of someone who has survived the storms and emerged with his dignity intact. When you enter a room with a level head and an expression of calm authority, you are communicating that you belong there. You are not a guest in the world, you are a master of your own experience. This shift in presence is complemented by the command signal of your voice. As men age, many unconsciously begin to rush their speech or lower their volume as if they are afraid of taking up too much of the air in the room. This is a betrayal of the self. A Stoic man speaks with a grounded, deliberate pace, filling the space with a voice that is not loud but heavy with the weight of experience. This isn't about aggression, it is about presence. It is the sound of a man who is comfortable with silence and who does not need to rush to justify his words. Age is not your barrier. It is your greatest advantage, providing you with a depth of character that youth can only dream of. Do not delay this shift in your soul. The right moment to reclaim your center of gravity is not tomorrow, but right now. To lead is to exist in a state of absolute certainty, even when the path ahead is shrouded in mist. In the realm of human connection, most men operate from a place of perpetual negotiation, constantly checking the horizon for a sign of approval that may never come. They ask for permission not because they are polite, but because they are terrified of the silence that follows a no. But the Stoic understands that the only thing truly within his control is his own intent and his own action. When you stop asking for permission to lead, you aren't being aggressive, you are being clear. A woman's desire is often a reflection of the clarity you project. If you are a man who waits for her to draw the map, to set the pace, and to give you a green light at every intersection, you are essentially asking her to take the masculine role. You are asking her to be the one who risks, and in doing so, you extinguish the very spark of attraction that thrives on the polarity of your strength against her receptivity. Leadership is not a loud or boisterous act. It is the quiet confidence of a man who knows where he is going. Imagine the scene so many men find themselves in. A moment of rising tension, a shared look that lingers a second too long, an invitation written in the subtext of the conversation. The average man feels this tension and panics. He tries to diffuse it with a question, asking, "Is this okay?" or "Do you want me to stay?" In that moment, he has handed her the burden of decision. He has forced her to move from her feelings into her analytical mind. And once a woman is forced to think about desire, the feeling of desire often vanishes. The Stoic man, however, remains grounded in the physical and emotional reality of the present. He moves with a deliberate, unhurried grace. He understands that his leadership is a gift of direction. If she chooses to stop the momentum, he accepts it with the same calm with which he initiated it. He does not collapse, he does not plead, and he does not take it as a blow to his ego. It is this very ability to lead without attachment to the outcome that makes his leadership irresistible. We must look at the concept of the nice guy through a philosophical lens to see why it fails so miserably. The nice guy is a man who uses kindness as a currency, hoping to buy intimacy with good behavior. This is a fundamental violation of Stoic integrity because it is a lie. True kindness is an end in itself. It does not expect a sexual reward. When a woman senses that your niceness is a strategy to get what you want without having to be vulnerable or direct, she feels manipulated. She senses the hidden contract you've signed in your head, and she rejects it because it lacks the raw honesty of masculine desire. Authenticity is the cornerstone of the Stoic character. A man who is honest about his desire, who carries it without shame and without the need to camouflage it in politeness, is a man who commands respect. He doesn't hide his intent, he masters it. He doesn't wait for her to discover his attraction, he allows her to feel it through his presence, his eye contact, and the unwavering nature of his attention. Consider the power of containment. In the modern world, everything is immediate, loud, and overshared. Men are taught to vent their feelings, to chase validation, and to react to every impulse. But there is a profound magnetism in the man who can contain his energy. Think of it as a reservoir of power behind a dam. The water is calm on the surface, but the pressure beneath is immense. When you are with a woman and you can sit in the silence of your own desire without feeling the need to beg for hers, you create a vacuum that she instinctively wants to fill. This is the masculine container. It is the ability to hold the space for tension to grow without breaking under the weight of your own insecurity. If you can stay centered while she tests your boundaries, if you can remain unruffled when she is distant, you prove that you are an anchor in her storm. This stability is the most potent aphrodisiac known to man, for it promises a depth of character that can weather any emotional season. Most men are too available, too predictable, and too easy to read. They give away their power because they believe that by showing her how much they need her, she will feel valued. But human nature dictates that we value what is rare and what is earned. The Stoic man is not playing a game of playing hard to get, he simply is hard to get, because his life is full of purpose that does not involve her. He is focused on his own virtue, his own work, and his own growth. When he is with her, he is 100% present, but when he is not pining away or sending desperate messages. This independence creates a psychological mystery. She begins to wonder where she fits into his world, and that curiosity is the fertile soil in which desire grows. You do not need to tell her you are a high-value man, you simply need to live as one, and she will sense the difference in the very air between you. The final realization a man must face on this path is that desire is not a transaction, it is a resonance. In the Stoic view, we often suffer because we try to control things that are external to us, the feelings, thoughts, and responses of others. But the man who understands the nature of the soul knows that you cannot force a lock, you can only become the key. Let us be blunt. If you have to ask a woman for intimacy, you have already lost the essence of it. For when desire is requested, it ceases to be a fire and becomes a chore. It becomes an act of charity, a hollow gesture given to appease your neediness. The Stoic man rejects such charity. He does not want a woman to give him her body because he asked for it. He wants her to offer herself because his presence has made it impossible for her to do otherwise. This is the difference between a beggar and a king. To reach this state, you must embrace the philosophy of non-reactivity. We live in an age of emotional fragility, where men react to every blue light on a screen and every subtle shift in a woman's mood. If she is cold, they panic. If she is distant, they pursue. But in doing so, they prove they are not the masters of their own house. A man who is easily disturbed is a man who cannot be trusted with the weight of a woman's heart. Real masculine power is found in the stillness. When you can witness her silence, her games, or her indecision without losing your center, without getting angry, without getting anxious, you become a mountain. And the nature of the feminine is to seek the shelter of the mountain. By not reacting, you create a vacuum of mystery. She begins to wonder why her usual tools of control do not work on you, and in that wonder, the seed of deep, primal attraction begins to take root. This brings us to the psychological art of space. Most men crowd a woman. They suffocate the spark with constant attention, fearing that if they step back, they will be forgotten. But the Stoic knows that absence is as important as presence. You must create the environment where she feels it was her decision to cross the line. This isn't about manipulation. It's about respecting the internal process of her desire. When you provide a safe, grounded, and sexually charged atmosphere without the pressure of a deadline, you allow her the freedom to choose. And when a woman feels she has chosen you of her own volition, not because you wore her down with persistence, but because she couldn't resist the pull of your energy, that desire becomes a wildfire that can last a lifetime. You provoke this not with words, but with the contained charge of your intent. You must stop viewing sex as a goal and start viewing it as a byproduct of your own excellence. If your life is empty, if you have no mission, no discipline, and no inner fortress, you will always project a sense of lack. You will look at a woman as the solution to your unhappiness, and she will smell that desperation from a mile away. But when you build yourself into a man of virtue, when you master your impulses and dedicate yourself to a higher purpose, you become magnetic. You no longer need to initiate in the traditional clumsy sense. Your gaze, your tone, and the way you hold your silence will do the work for you. You are not here to adapt to her world. You are here to build a world so compelling that she wants to be a part of it. Brother, the path of the Stoic man is a lonely one at first, because it requires you to slay the part of yourself that craves validation. But once that part is dead, you are truly free. You become a man who does not beg for affection, who does not negotiate for love, and who does not settle for charity. You become a man who leads from a place of peace, and in that peace, you will find the most intense passion you have ever known. If these words have touched a truth you were trying to hide from yourself, perhaps it is time to change the lens through which you see the world. Subscribe to the channel and join this journey to build a man who doesn't need to shout to be heard or chase to be noticed. Hit the like button to be part of this community striving to rise above weakness and confusion. I'll see you in the comments to discuss how you will start reclaiming your center of gravity today.